Okay, y'all, it is Monday, and I'm not feeling 100%. There are a few reasons for that. I'll get into it later, but what a lovely day. It is 72 and sunny, so I got my hat and my photochromic sunglasses, UPF long sleeve polo shirt, reapplied sunscreen during my lunch break. God, I started taking this B complex vitamin. I really think it's just too much. I'm definitely going to start splitting those in half because the dose is just one capsule. But, oh man, oh my God, okay. I'm not going to shit my pants right now, but looking forward to the gym though. Just gotta keep it together digestively. I'd say that my main source of carbs for the last 2 weeks has honestly been, so my mom has been in this kick where she's like really into making homemade sourdough bread. And it's like really fascinating. She has this little like bell jar, not a bell jar, like a vase thing. It's like this big glass tub thing that's filled with the flour and the sourdough microorganisms and obviously some water or whatever. And she just feeds it every day with fresh flour, and it just keeps regenerating itself. And she's really mindful of it because she had a friend who's sourdough microflora, whatever the fuck, went bad, and when it goes bad, it like honestly looks like string cheese that's sort of been pulled apart in really thin layers and then like twisted together. It looked terrible. It looked disgusting. Now I am nervous. I'm nervous about this day at Planet Fitness because let me tell you, after work I had one more round. It was coming out like hot lava. It hurt. And I had to I literally had to, I literally used soap to like clean myself up after because I was like, no, toilet paper, just toilet paper is not gonna get it done. I'm gonna feel disgusting at Planet Fitness, so I need to do like a little mini cleanse down there. So that was a whole thing, definitely TMI, but let me just tell you, the whole point of why I'm oversharing is because I firmly believe it's the vitamin B complex. I got the one from Nature Made. Cut it in half. I mean, if you look at the back of it anyway, like in a B complex vitamin, they give you like over 1,000%, 600%, sometimes like 8,000% of the daily value of some of these multivitamins or some of these B vitamins. Yes.
You mix the wrong sperm with the wrong egg, and oopsie daisy, you just made a human being who has a mother and a father who've never met each other. And whatever happens to that human being, it's not going to be ideal.
Ron, connect to Sathan.
Allow the human being to live.
I named my iPhone Sathan because I'm such a big Scarlet Witch fan, turbo dork. I'm not going to tell you which password it is, but I do have a password that is Scarlet Witch Star. And then I have another thing going on where the password is, what the hell was it? It was like Darkhold Necro Deadite. Or it was like Scarlet Darkhold Necro Deadite. Something like that. I'm a horror movie lover, but that's why Scarlet Witch is my favorite character in the MCU, because I love how, even though they totally fucked it up, ruined it, just destroyed the character arc and all the potential that had been built up, still, just the character's association with all the spooky shit and, you know, the Darkhold being like within the Marvel canon, the Darkhold is supposed to be actually above the Necronomicon in terms of darkness and black magic supremacy. Like in the Marvel comic canon, the Necronomicon is actually an excerpt, like a single fragment of the Darkhold's infinite evil. And so, anyway, enough of that. There was no reason you needed to know that, but we made it to Planet Fitness, so I'm going to do my little pre-entry routine. I just like to I like to moisturize my lips before I go in there because I tend to dry out when I get sweaty. So let's go get it, do good work. And I'm gonna try my best to have a good week 3, wherever you are in your journey. Hope you're having a good week, and we got this. Oh my God, this person's high beams are on. It feels like I'm getting abducted by aliens or something. Ah! Okay, let me let this car go. I'm having my banana. I already tossed my protein back. I did my 100-calorie warm-up walk, and then I did 300 calories on the bike with multiple sprint intervals, so it was sort of like a HIIT bike, you know, like high-intensity interval, because it would be like gentle, gentle, hard, gentle, go, gentle, sprint. And I kept doing that until I finally, around like 280 calories in, I was just totally toast. Totally dead. And so I just chugged until I could get to the end. Then I did a 50-calorie walk because I really needed to cool down from that. I was planning on going to my plank intervals right after that, but it was just way too busy in that section. So I actually did 50 calories on the stairs. It was just way too crowded. So I did that to kill some time. And then found a place and I did my plank intervals. Then after that, I finished with a 100-calorie walk. Once you have been suicidally depressed for an extended period of time, depression is always going to have its hooks sunk into you, and it's always going to rear its ugly head back and start to try to pull you back into the pit. And that's why, you know, tonight I'm going to make sure keep up with the routines, do a little bit of housework, don't skip any of my self-care or hygiene, have a good shower, water floss, brush my teeth, do my PM skincare. Before I brush my teeth, have some tea to help me, you know, get in the mood to wind down. Like, just keep it going. Don't start to succumb to those feelings of, what's the point? I wish that I had a better way to just snap your fingers and get out of it. I do have some tips that I think will be really helpful for ruminations. That's going to be a video coming up, but I do really wish that when the wave hits you, I really think WandaVision described it best. Even though she was specifically talking about grief, I think it's really applicable to depression, where it's like, you know, every time that you try to stand back up, the wave just knocks you back down, and eventually you stop trying to stand back up and you just let the waves overtake you until you're underneath the surface of the water, just watching yourself sink deeper and deeper and deeper. Like, WandaVision was just such a great insight into depression. But we gotta, like, on the flip side, like Dory said, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I think I have the tune wrong. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but, you know, just keep swimming. That's what we gotta do. And if for no one else, for ourselves, because we deserve it. Okay. Monday night, over. Tuesday is gonna be my crunch day, doing weights. These little dips, they don't have to define the journey or reroute the journey. It's just a pit stop. Tomorrow's a new day, and we're gonna get back on track. It was a gray and ugly day throughout, but at least the temperature was nice. Okay, there's some like babies playing in a yard. Let me be extra cautious. Okay. I definitely do not want to be the trigger of a new Pet Sematary movie. I also brought a shirt to swap because on Friday, my last crunch day, I sweat through a gray cotton t-shirt and it just felt gross. And oh, it still has that light fragrance of bleach residue on it. Oh God, I just love it. I stopped using fabric softener, which was hard. It was very hard because I have used fabric softener ever since I first learned how to do laundry. It's just always felt like it's supposed to be a part of the process, but I finally quit. I used to struggle with that in high school and college. Oh my God, college. One thing about college that was just horrible, absolutely horrible and disgusting was the on-dorm laundromat situation. Oh, those machines were fucking disgusting. And to a certain extent, I think it was inevitable, but it was definitely worsened by people who would leave their laundry loads wet in the washer for hours and who just would fucking close the washing machine door because it was front loaders, obviously. And they would close the door when they were done with it, even though there's a jillion fucking signs saying, please leave the washing machine doors open. This was a top 20 university in the nation, and we had fuckers who just couldn't understand the concept of, if this laundry, if this wet washing machine is enclosed and stays wet and musky overnight, it's gonna be funky and smelly in perpetuity until someone deep cleans it. Which, when the fuck is that gonna happen? I honestly don't know. Honestly, that would be such a bitch of a maintenance task and expensive for the colleges to I bet real laundromats do it, well-run real laundromats do it, but in college dorms and stuff, you know that they're not putting in one of those descaling, degunkifying tabs in once a month to do a tub clean cycle. You know that they're not scrubbing the rims and the gaskets with bleach. In that situation, I think it should probably happen every 2 weeks, because to compensate for the fact that you know that kids are gonna close the latch all the way when they're done with it and let it fester and get nasty, you know that these things aren't happening. Okay, enough of my rant. I have made it to Planet Fitness. So, it's gonna be a crunch day, but let me go get hydro massaged, and then we're gonna do the best we can. I might adjust if necessary, but like always, I will try to tell you if I had to adjust something afterward, but I don't know. I definitely need a good stretch too, but nothing's feeling too creaky or inflamed so far. But you never know. Once you get moving, that's when you really get a vibe. That ended up being a really great day, even though I did not want to go today. That's what builds success, though. When you start to do these things that are beneficial, even when you don't want to do them. That's the slippery slope, because this week I have been feeling that tug of depression back into the dark place. I got a lot of shit to cut down. I talk too much. And my other big issue is I say the same thing 5 fucking times. Talk in circles. Nightmare to edit, but it is what it is. Okay, guys, the journey begins. This has been one of those weeks where last year I would have succumbed for sure, and I would have just quit on myself, and because I do feel that pull, because I'm very prone to this. I'm very, very prone to starting something and going all in on it for 2 to 4 weeks. And just for those 2 to 4 weeks, I'm just full of hope. I'm full of dreams. I'm full of, I call it the change my life syndrome, where I'm this is going to change my life. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be what just makes me feel good, and motivated and driven from now on and on and on. And then I just quickly burn out. And then I go into a depressive slump, because then I feel bad about oh God, failed. I burned out. I realized this is going to be so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And this isn't going to be a quick, I found my life purpose, this is what I want to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then that sends you into just a depressive place where it's really easy to feel down on yourself. And that's just one of a myriad, a plethora of ways that you can start to sink back into the pit. And so I definitely was starting to feel just a little bit of that this week, I think. This is about forming habits, creating patterns, behavioral stability, i.e. discipline, sticking to something. Even when I feel like the initial spark is extinguished, like, no, like, I'm not going to let that dictate how I react or behave this time. I mean, to a certain extent, I can't control how I'm, like, feeling, but I can control, like, because I'm not in a full catastrophic clinical depression at this moment in life. At this moment in life, I have enough control over my actions and my choices to keep going, even though it does feel harder this week, even though there is that just sense of like, oh, like I really wish I could just crawl into bed and just not go today. It would be so much easier on my, schedule and whatever, and like lie to myself like, yeah, like I'd be productive in other ways if I didn't go to the gym. Honey, you have lied to yourself. You have told yourself lies like that before. So no, go to the gym. I did have a little bit today of not quite a flashback, but I guess just a little memory from the dark place. And basically it was like when I was at total rock bottom and I had just moved back into my childhood bedroom. And again, I'm so fortunate that I had a place to crash land. Because I know a lot of people who do suffer from severe mental illness and mental instability, they don't have that. And they end up homeless and worse. And so, like, I know that rock bottom for many other people can be so much worse. I'm very lucky that I had that crash pad. But it wasn't perfect. It's still, objectively, like, I can be grateful that I had the crash pad and still feel like, oh my God, there were aspects of that were just so non-conducive to, like, really getting through the hump. Like, there were pros and cons. That's what I'm saying in a roundabout way. There was one day in particular, I don't remember even the month. I just know it was within a few months after coming back home in February of 2019. And I just was, I don't know, there were a lot of traumas coming up. See, that was the thing. When I was in my collapsing life in the city, I was avoiding my repressed issues and traumas and whatever with the drinking, the eating, the shopping, the spending, the suicidal ideations and whatever. And then when I was home, it's like, here I am, I fucking annihilated my life as I knew it. And and I'm back home, and it's like everything just came roaring up, and I couldn't push it down anymore. And my understanding is this is like a common part of like severe recovery. If you've been repressing a lot your entire life, it has to come out. Now, you never want it to come out in a dangerous or unsafe way for you, yourself, or others, but like, a lot of these shocking realizations, when you start to reframe your things from your past and your childhood and put them into their proper context, eventually, after you've done a lot of personal work and work with a therapist, you'll get to a point where it's not going to feel so bothersome and so shocking anymore. But when you first start to realize these little cracks in, the mosaic that you've formed in your head of how your early life was, the shock can just cause you to break down a lot of like trembling, almost PTSD, like flashback crying, and just realizing how objectively bad some things were. And so I'm not going to go into those right now, but let me just say, that was a point of strong disagreement with my parents. They just didn't understand, and they would just like misinterpret it as like a choice to not be strong and a choice to be ungrateful. And I just really don't think that that's what was happening. But the point is, I was having like a total breakdown, and I just felt so, and at the time I just felt so invalidated, and so I was like sobbing and shaking, and I just was having a back and forth with my mom, and just, I just felt like I couldn't communicate, and like I wasn't being heard, because like I was just trying to say, I was trying to express, like, but obviously I wasn't in the right state of mind to express or communicate effectively, but I was like trying to express there were things from my childhood that hurt me, and I'm realizing now hurt me on such a deep level. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to feel or function like a normal human being. And I'm realizing like all the ways that I'm broken, all the ways that like I feel scared of people. I feel scared of people knowing the real me. I feel scared of people. I feel scared of becoming the real me. I feel like in order to survive emotionally, just because of the way that I grew up and was conditioned, feel like I never even became a person. Like I just always put on a shell to navigate the world, and the real me that was supposed to manifest internally never came into existence. And so I just feel like this empty, dead shell. Like there's nothing in my core, because I just felt afraid to ever let that develop and happen. And that was a terrifying realization at the time. And to some extent, I think that's still true and always will be true. But the point is, when I was getting told how, like that I'm ungrateful, and that I don't appreciate like all that she's done, and that love is about actions, not words. And so like all the words that had ever been said like never meant anything, because at the end of the day, like I was supported like very well financially, and just on and on and on and on. But there I go again, rambling. I'm getting away from the dynamics of it, because that's not even what bothered me or still bothers me at times to this day. The point is, we were never going to see eye to eye. I eventually stormed off and went to my childhood bedroom where I was living again. And I just didn't want to talk at that point, because I was like, we're not going to meet obviously today, because it's like I'm crying, I'm reactively screaming back at you, because I'm just so frustrated that you can't even like on any level accept my point of view, and or just be like, I understand you're hurting, you know what I mean? Like there was no sense of like I get that you are mentally broken right now, and that like you are at such a suicidal, fragile point in life. So like, like, let me just back off some of the heat. Like, even if I disagree, like, this is someone who is in a total crisis state. So let me just back off some of the heat. It's not going to help him feel better or get better to like scream at him and be like, you are so fucking ungrateful, and just on and on and on. And so I went to my room and just wanted to be alone, and I locked the door. And I don't remember, because see, there were so many incidents like this. I don't remember if this is I don't remember if this is one of the ones where she was like literally like slamming her fists on the door, being like, you open this goddamn door, I'm not done fucking talking to you. Like, I don't remember if it was one of those, but I just remember eventually being like leave me alone. And I really felt like that was a night where, in particular, like even more than usual, I really wanted to die. Not even passively, like I just really fucking hope I don't wake up in the morning. I was in my closet fashioning a noose and really practicing out how could I end my life. But that's not even what I'm talking about. Still, still on and on and on. Now, I know I'm already here. I know I need to go because of my schedule, but I just want to get the thought out. That's not even the part that came back and haunted me today, so to speak. What haunted me was, so that was my perspective, my POV. I was angry, I was crying, I was sobbing, I was screaming on my way to lock myself in my room. And then when I was finally left alone to my own devices, I was planning out hanging myself in the closet. I don't remember if it was the next day, or I don't remember how long after it was, but I remember my mom at some point told me that, she didn't know this, or I think she should have assumed this or whatever, but while I was experimenting with fabrics to try to and seeing what I had to make a noose, so she told me that they had locked and barricaded their door, like literally barricaded with furniture and stuff, and presumably had their pistol ready, because she said that they were so scared that I was going to try to barge through their doors and murder them in their sleep, that she said that they locked the door and had furniture stacked and chairs and shit barricading the door, and presumably their loaded pistol ready to shoot and kill me if I came at them in a murderous rampage. And so while they were up all night, waiting to see if they would have to shoot me in self-defense, I was in my closet measuring out fabric around my throat and seeing if there were things strong enough to support it, and I was ready to hang myself. That's one of the things that to this day I just find really bothersome. And I never even if they felt that way, I never needed to know that. You know what I mean? That's not something that and especially when I was in my suicidal state, that's not something that I ever needed to be made aware of. And I don't want to start crying before I go into the gym, but and our relationship has patched up 10,000% since then. But it's just things like that where even though memories like that to some extent will always come back to haunt you, and it's the memories of the dark times and the dark eras of your life will never go away. I really think that there is an opportunity to reframe things and to sort of look at it more from the angle of holy shit. I think it's a miracle. I mean, you could view that as a negative connotation too, but just for, to in a colloquial sense, it's a miracle that I'm still alive. And I'm really, really proud of myself for not being in that place anymore. And even though just the dynamics were so stressful and whatnot, I'm really proud of myself for still being able to put myself together enough to feel mentally stable for the first time that I can ever remember in my life. And I don't want to get into that too much. Okay. Anyway, that was my trip down memory lane today. I think for the most part, I wanted to share that because I wanted to share that because I don't want to hide these realities of a recovery process and a recovery journey. I think that I was very driven and uplifted by the newness of all this for the first 2 weeks, but reality has set in a little bit this third week, and I wanted to show just the depression and the memories of the depression. They're always, to some extent, going to haunt you, but when you have done a lot of the work, you do have more autonomy over how you process it and how you react to it and how you reframe these things, these memories. You know, because that memory now is not a sign of like, oh, like my family dynamics are so fucked up and that explains why I'm gonna be depressed forever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's no longer how to view it. Now it's like, wow, I feel amazing that I was able to put myself together during a time like that. And I feel so blessed that I have been able to reach a place where the relationship and the mutual understanding with my family is in a much, much better place. And we have done so much work to recover our relationship. And in some ways it'll never be the same because it's like, you know, but in other ways it's stronger and more respectful than it's ever been. And that's something to feel good about, something to feel proud of. Okay, that was a good light cardio gym day. I had to trim the fat a little bit on that, or else I wasn't going to make it in time to pick up my little brother from his choir show. But I've been feeling really good on the planks, like better and better and better each time I do my little plank series. So I think next week I'm going to modify it. And instead of a 3-2-1, I think I'm going to experiment bumping up to something like a 4-3-2-1. I'd have to shuffle it around a little bit. But I don't have many other post-workout thoughts today other than I really do feel better. You know, I think that, especially on today, Thursday, I think in my pre-Thursday you could really see like a little crack where it's just constant. You know, if you don't keep patching up your cracks, the depression and taking care of yourself, the depression, it will start to seep through and then try to latch back in or refortify its talons in you, refortify its grip and start trying to pull you back into the darkness. And you just have to continue to do things to mind your well-being and take care of your well-being, even when it feels like it would be so much easier to just give in and let the darkness swallow you and drag you back down. Don't do it. Do something to continue these new routines that, you know, we're building, that I'm building, that you're building, or whatever, or that you already have built. Just keep consistent. Don't start lapsing on the little things that are good for your health and good for your mood and your wellness and good for just maintaining a sense of pride in consistency. Do not let your discipline lapse. This is exactly what I have talked about. Actually, I might have cut it out in old vlogs. I'm not sure, but at some point, whether it made it into old vlogs or not, this is exactly what I have meant when I've talked about the benefits of discipline in terms of keeping you going, even when it would feel easier to just sit still and sink. Keep going. Stay disciplined, because this dark cloud, if you just keep pushing through it, it will pass. If you stop and let the cloud hover over you and keep getting darker and more intense and heavier, that's when you start sinking back down and succumbing. So do not stop. I know that might sound a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people who believe in, you know, like mental health positivity and whatnot. And I totally believe I'm a mental health advocate at least in my own way. I know a lot of people believe in that, like, oh, like give yourself enough grace to, like, you know, take a whole day if you need it. You know, you can have days where you give yourself, you know, a get out of jail free card. And because some days you just need to not do anything that you normally would. Some days you just need to stay in bed and, you know, recover on your sleep and whatever. And I totally believe in getting enough sleep. But I do not believe in the whole, like, yeah, like, give yourself a whole day where you can break your routines. Now, hear me out. Like, if you truly are absolutely overworked, like if it's an overworked issue, overworked, depleted, run down, completely burnt out because you really have just been going, and you're sleep deprived and whatever, that's like a different situation. In that case, I totally believe, like, as long as you maintain the hygiene, you know, make sure you brush your teeth and all that, still try to get some fresh air if you can. By all means, sleep the day away, hydrate, enjoy yourself. That's so valid in my opinion. But if you're wanting one of those days because the depression is creeping up, and it's not because of, you know, you're overworked or like legitimately overworked or burnt out because you've just been going. If it's like a depression thing where you're just like, oh my God, I just like really don't want to get out of bed today. I just don't even want to shower today. Fuck the gym. I'm just like, my thighs are still sore from the last day I went. God, like my legs just feel so stiff. I know I need to really give them a good stretch. I don't want to go to the gym because I know that like the only way it's going to be really meaningful for me to go to the gym is if I do give myself a good stretch, but I don't even want to give myself a good stretch. I just want to fucking stay home. God, if that's the mindset that's feeding into the belief of like, fuck today, you know what, I deserve a mental health day. I deserve a day to break the pattern and just not do anything. I do not think that that is a good idea. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, because that's not like a true, you know, physical recovery day that benefits your mental health. That's a day of the dark cloud is back and I'm going to take shade under it. That is, in my experience, I mean, with rare exceptions, it's never just one day. I just need one day. It's never just one day. One day turns into two, turns into three. Suddenly, you know, that's when other patterns start breaking. That's when it's like, I have no food in the house, but I just don't even want to go to Walmart. I'm just going to order in. That's when all of these dominoes start collapsing in on you, all around you. And then you have let the dark cloud come back and really just like jam your ass back down into the pit. So again, that's very controversial, but I do think that there is a difference between like a positive rest day, a positive mental health day, or a day where you're letting yourself sink. Okay, I gotta go. That's all I had to say. Have a great day. Tomorrow's crunch day. I'm gonna do my best, but I need to eat a lot in preparation for that. Let's get it. Keep the progress going. I know this is gonna be a long vlog this week, but thanks for bearing with me if you stumbled on these. And if you are someone who has dealt with depression, I hope that you don't feel as alone, you know. We are not unique in this. There are millions of people who have been through this and are continuing to really just fight to stay. I mean, not in the same way as someone with like a serious degenerative like physical illness, but in our own way, we are fighting to stay alive every day. We are fighting to keep enough just like of a spark of life in us that we don't literally destroy ourselves. That's what I mean by that, by we're fighting to stay alive in our own unique way, because otherwise we will destroy ourselves. So hang in there, and I'm always happy to be your online digital accountability buddy. Bye. Okay, it's Friday. Finish the week strong. I'm gonna do my best. My dermatitis is back on my neck. I think at this point it's contact dermatitis getting re-triggered by the sweat when I'm working out. So I'm actually considering getting some of those like body shower towelette wipes. I was telling my friend Carolyn about this. Hey, Carolyn, if you're watching. And yeah, nothing else of note. Just my usual drinks. But, you know, today's protein mug is Avocardio. We love him. And we're doing the mermaid cup for our electrolytes to refuel during. So it's starting to rain, so let me get my arse in there. Afterward, I might talk to you about something that just really touched my heart today in the Rust trial. Just like my heart went out to this lady so bad, but I'll try to cover that after. Also, you'll notice that I don't have the DJI, like the little mic thing. You know, I'm gonna have to see how the sound is when I actually edit the video and have it, listen to it on an iPhone to test it out, because when I was just testing, like play testing with the DJI mic on my computer, I hated how it sounded compared to the mics built into the Action 4, which is so funny because I was like, I thought that it was going to be so much better than these mics. Granted, there was a lot less of the ambient noise, but when I'm in the car, I actually think the ambient noise is kind of relaxing. You know what I mean? So I did not like that about the DJI mic. Now, granted, I think the sound might be better if you have like the unit attached to your hip and have a lavalier hooked into it, like a little lavalier clip-on mic. That might be a better solution. But for now, I'm gonna save that for when I'm on my nature walks and when I have the pole extended, because I know when I have the selfie pole extended out and the camera's far away, I know that these built-in mics are not going to be like my voice is going to be super faint, so that might be a good time to have the little DJI wireless mic. But for now, like for the car rides, I'm just using the built-ins. It makes life easier, and I even think it sounds better this way. Okay, y'all, I finished strong. 100-calorie warm-up walk, PF30 Express, 200-calorie strider, 50-calorie cool-down walk, 200-calorie cycle, 50-calorie final cooldown walk. Woo! That's the PF30 Express. Oh, and my modified PF30 Express. So doing all of the weight reps, 2 sets. I'm not gonna talk about the Rust trial like I said I might on the pre-workout video, because you know what? That is a very tragic, sad situation, and the testimony I was going to talk about, in my opinion, is the most devastating testimony of the entire trial thus far. If you want a good cry, look it up. It's the EMT testimony from the Rust trial against the armorer. You do you. Wait, what the fuck? Oh, what the? I can't tell if this shirt has funk in it or not. Or I can't tell if it's like some of the funk of the gym is still like lingering in my sinuses. You know how that can go. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna stop by Chipotle and get my get my usual Chipotle bowl order with 2 tortillas on the side. That's 2 big meals right there. 2 like amazing big meals right there. Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, guys, it's still Friday. I ended up getting an eczema body wash from Eucerin and an eczema cream from CeraVe. Those are 2 brands I really like. And let me tell you, eczema shit is expensive. It's $30 for 1 small body wash and 1 8-ounce tube of cream. $30 total. So I'm skipping Chipotle because I still have leftover pasta at home, and I have a bunch of eggs and vegetables and whey powder, so I can make my own high protein, high carb recovery meal. I do not need Chipotle for that. Bitch is on a budget. Anyway, I made it home. I'm gonna eat my recovery meal and then start working on these eczema products, because let me tell you, I do not want to rely on prescription steroid cream to keep all these dermatitis rash bumps down. I'm not interested in that. So I hope these eczema products are able to like soothe this stuff. Plus, I'm not working out Saturday or Sunday, so that'll give me a chance to like calm down. Okay, now I'm gonna go. Bye.